The worst thing about being an addict is that then makes you want to drink more.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to escape those pains. An addict's brain's not rational.
Yes.
And so it's it was hard.
Hi, I'm James. Welcome to Slaying Sober, where we tell stories of addiction, recovery, and hope. Wherever you are on your sober journey, know that you do not stand alone. Ben Murphy is a magician, illusionist, TV star, and a radio host. He's also set world records on the stage, sold out tours across the globe, and he recently interviewed Sporty Spice and Lenny Kravitz. Ben shares about his rockstar lifestyle of red carpets, first-class flights, and sold-out world tours, but also with vulnerability about the loneliness of what happens when he walks off stage and his battles with alcohol. Now Ben is 6 years sober. He shares about his journey of recovery, about harnessing curiosity, and why his worst day sober is still better than his best day drunk. This is a very funny and fun conversation with Ben, and I really, really hope you enjoy it. If this story lands for you, it would mean the world for me if you could follow Slaying Sober, hit subscribe, or share this episode on your social media or with someone who needs it. I am at Slaying Sober Pod on Instagram. That simple act helps these stories reach more people who think that they're alone. Thank you. Ben, thank you so much for joining me on Slaying Sober. I'm really grateful for your time and for coming in.
Cheers, I'm absolutely, it's great to be here. Popping myself though, because I'm normally on your side of the couch. And not being in control is interesting take, particularly after, becoming sober.
Yeah.
And getting so much control of my life now. Relinquishing a little bit of that is daunting.
And as I was reading your bio, so you're a magician, an illusionist, a radio host.
Yeah, jack of all trades, a master of none. I think it's the saying.
And as I said, you're certainly a man about town. I've been seeing you everywhere lately.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've become, I don't know what they call it, a micro-influencer or something like that. I've been invited to all of these red carpet events. Essentially I get taken to things when cast members from Maths or Home and Away aren't available. Like a New Year's Eve, I even made the socials. It was Paddy Newton and Ben Murphy spotted at star-studded opening of Cats. And I'm like, if a lady who's famous for being married to someone and me is star-studded, the studs must be cubic zirconia. Yeah.
Very good. And you are also a sober man, which is why you're joining us on a sobriety podcast.
Yeah, 6 years, 3 months and a couple of days.
And life is good?
Life is generally really good.
Yeah.
Even my worst days, and I've probably had some of the worst days of my life in those 6 years. Is still better than my best day sober.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're able to tackle life on life's terms, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, but it's the right decision for sure.
Yeah. So tell us about little Ben and where you grew up and what you did when you were younger.
Yeah, right. So, I was born in Sydney and spent the first couple of years there, but I essentially grew up in a place called Redcliffe, which is about 20 minutes north of Brisbane. And I was quite a sickly kid. I spent a lot of time in and out of hospital, lots of operations, ate lots of grommets on my ears, chronic asthmatic, lots of stuff.
Yep.
And I got obsessed, with all the clown doctors and all that sort of stuff, and was quite a sort of gregarious kid and loved the sort of spotlight. And, so I'd learn tricks and different stuff in hospital. Then I'd go to school and show people tricks.
And that then
Love the sort of attention and
And that began the life of a young magician.
Yeah, correct. Sort of all started from that. But yeah, I think always, I think like a lot of people that are addicts, you know, you're chasing something in your life, and even from a young age, you know, you're not quite fitting in or feeling a little bit lost. So
Yep.
I think as my first addiction was the limelight, you know, and just constantly craving that.
Yeah. Where do you think that came from?
Middle child syndrome, maybe, perhaps. But yeah, I can't really think of an exact thing. I just know that I'm very different to my family. You know, I'm gay, and that's often sometimes a lot of queer people feel that as well.
Yep.
But you know, my family's very sort of your typical Aussie, you know, Kath and Kim type characters, kind of blokey and all that sort of stuff. And I'm, you know, wanted to dance and do magic and wear colourful outfits and different stuff. So I was always a little bit different, you know, the black sheep of the family.
So you grew up in Queensland we're talking 80s?
Yeah, so I was born in 83, so yeah.
Yep. And what was it like as a gay man growing up in Queensland?
It was... Yeah, look, I was the first sort of openly gay kid at my school. I came out when I was 13.
Yep.
Not because I was brave, but because my mum read my diary. So that was fun. Yeah, it was tough. There was a lot of bullying, a lot of name calling. Yeah, it was good.
And were you the class clown in school, Ben?
Yeah, I think I developed this sort of acidic tongue, or this way to try and, you know, make people laugh and figure if they're laughing at me, they're not going to be hurting me.
Yes.
And so I would, you know, use humour a lot to sort of, try and avoid some of the, you know, confrontations or discomfort.
Yeah. Would you say it's a safe place for you, comedy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I still use it to this day.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling cornered or uncomfortable, I'll make a bad joke.
Yes.
And, try and get around it that way.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, just the walls. I mean, some people, my partner goes completely quiet when he gets defensive. I'll just start making jokes or start. The verbal diarrhea will just come spilling in.
And I find it really interesting as well, and we'll touch on how your line of work has changed over time, but you've gone from class clown to magic and illusion to, you know, political reporting on radio. It's quite a story arc.
It's it's not something I would have ever thought myself doing, but there was something when I sort of started having enough of magic and started trying other avenues and trying to find a way to captivate an audience in maybe a different avenue of my personality that I hadn't explored, you know, and without the props and that. It was really fascinating. And when the opportunity came up for me to host a show on ABC, doing, you know, proper research and having discussions and holding politicians accountable on that, there was something... It was kind of thrilling, you know, being as close as we are now, watching these people that lead the country and just watching the machine work and, you know, quite often people lying to your face, you know, and as a magician and that, you sort of, you learn a bit of mind tricks and the way people's work, and so you spot people's tells and lies and that instantly, and it's just, I really enjoyed it.
It's fascinating. There's such a close proximity between, you know, magic and illusion and psychology as well, isn't there? Yeah,
well, it's all dealing with smoke and mirrors, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it's magic. It's clear that you're pulling the wool over people's eyes and you want people to see a certain thing.
Yes.
But most of us are using aspects of magic in everyday life. You know, you're putting on masks or you're controlling the narrative that an audience sees. You know, and even as you know, when I was completely, you know, getting drunk and that all the time, very few people knew I had a problem. I think we get very good at only letting people know what we want to see and masking and putting on a show the rest of us, whether it's the show in the traditional sense, you know, like stage, but people do that every day in life.
Yeah, and with politicians as well, like when...
Master magicians.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
right.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and like a lot of like my addiction came out in me being manipulative, lying, dishonest, which I think can describe a politician at times as well, right?
I think that's the qualities you must have to be a politician.
Yeah, maybe they need a 12-step program or
Perhaps,
something.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your first experiences with alcohol.
So probably grade 10 or 11, I the bullying started dying down a little bit. And, it's that age where people start having house parties and that sort of stuff. Particularly my nephews and that are 18, 19 now, they don't seem to, the drinking culture doesn't seem to be around like it was when we were younger. But it was very much part of the culture there. And in Redcliffe, it's a very sports-oriented town. Again, I was still, I was very out, very open, but I was getting, the popular kids or the sports people were starting to sort of invite me to a few parties and things. And it's not my natural area, and people were drinking anyway, but I would have pre-drinks and that to, I guess, get myself comfortable and relax, because I wouldn't know how to fit in.
Yep,
and
social lubricant.
Yeah, exactly right. So it started from a very early age that I don't know how to deal with people in that aren't sort of in my bubble.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you consume alcohol abnormally to your friends and peers?
Like most teenagers, I would think, there was a lot of excessive drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did it have consequences back then?
Yeah, like a lot of Mondays and Tuesdays at school where my head was just not working.
Yep.
But there was also this really good side to it. Like, you were able to, being sort of the only queer kid in my school, my best female friends, and that, we were able to sneak into nightclubs in the city that were, gay clubs. And I think that felt part of the culture, and you felt accepted and stuff like that. So I think there was also, the twofold, getting invited to those parties and things, but then being able to go to a space where I felt like, I'm surrounded by my people. But that, at the time, obviously, it had a lot of alcohol and substances associated with that scene. So it felt like whatever direction I chose, there was lubricants needed.
And were the other boys jealous of you getting the attention from the girls at the school?
I reckon there was moments of it, yeah. I know my brother in particular, I remember a few times he's like, he was very jealous of some of the friendships and would ask if we could sneak him into a club too, because he'd be like, well, all the girls get sad at the end of the night because there's no guys. And, it was kind of creepy, but, he'd, I think he hooked up with a friend of mine here or there.
There you do. There you go. And so tell me how that escalated from, teenage Ben drinking too much through your 20s and later on.
Yeah, when I went to university and first moved out of home to go to university and study acting, was I was just turned 18. I was living 3 hours away from home, in a share house. Obviously uni, there's a lot of alcohol around. Again, a lot of people. I've got a very small, close group knit of friends. I'm not, despite my onstage persona and that, I'm not overly social. I still get awkward in social groups. So there was a lot of alcohol involved there, and I think that's when the real serious drinking started.
Yes.
And then I moved to Melbourne, and sort of it settled down and got with my partner. We've been together 23 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, quite a long time. And things were good for a while. And then started, I'm not sure, I can't really remember why, but I know I started drinking a lot. I got sober for 2 years, went overseas and, toured America, broke a world record, did some really cool stuff, came back. And I never really thought I had a drinking problem. I thought I was just drinking too much. And then some friends were like, you've had your 2 years off.
Yeah.
Have a drink now, you'll be fine. I thought, yeah, okay, I can drink again. This is fine.
And we all know how that ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more. You just alluded to your world record and your touring of the world. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more, please?
Yeah, so, I got invited. There was a guy called Paul Osborne who's sadly no longer with us. And he designed a lot of illusions for David Copperfield, produced a lot of specials, worked with Siegfried and Roy.
Yep.
And I had all of his books. I was obsessed with this man since I was a kid. And he was putting on a tour in the US, and he needed a magician for it, and there was an opportunity to apply for it, and I submitted my stuff from Australia and sent some, bad videos and on my 1 megapixel phone and all that sort of stuff from back then, and eventually got the part and went over to the States and was doing 3 shows a day, 7 days a week, and I'd get 1 or 2 days off a month.
Oh,
it was intense. I lost about 25 kilos. It was
hectic lifestyle.
It was crazy.
And you were breaking world records, selling out shows.
From Houdini's water torture tank. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Yeah. It was phenomenal.
With the water torture tank, is there a lot of holding breath, or you can't give away too much?
Yeah. So, you're in a tank of water, you've got chains around you, the audience have, experienced it. It's a dangerous trick.
Yeah.
Things can go wrong. Obviously, there's a secret, and there's, safety mechanisms in place in case something goes wrong. But you're still in a tank of water that weighs, I guess a couple of tons when it's filled up in a confined space with real handcuffs and then around you. It, a few times things did go wrong, and those moments are frightening. Like, I think that the most scared I ever was in the show, and it was something that wasn't even that dangerous, right? So that we had water bubblers in the show just to create, bubbles that would just create a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And when you hop into a routine like that, it is all about routine. You have to go on autopilot, and just the whole world stops and you just focus on this thing. And I went into the tank one day and the air compressor wasn't working, so there was no bubbles. So I was in this completely silent, and it had never been silent before. And when you're inside of a tank filled with water, it's essentially mirrors, and you've got all the stage lights shining at it.
Yes.
So it was deathly silent, filled to the top, so there's not much movement of water, and I could just see myself from all angles. And it threw my, auto, my rhythm out, the routine of it, and it was frightening.
Petrifying.
It just you rely so much on things being exactly as they always are in a trick like that, and that just completely threw me off. And then another time, and I think one of the only times I've ever really got cranky at an employee was I was getting lowered upside down into the tank of water, and in between shows we'd put heater, they'd dangle the heaters in just to keep the water, so it wasn't freezing.
Yeah.
And they forgot to take the heaters out. But of course, once the lid had gone down on the wires, it would have cut and I would have been electrocuted. So as I was getting lowered down, I saw that they hadn't taken the heaters out, and the only way they can go in is over the top.
Yes.
And so I was, the friendly Ben was pretty pissed after that show.
Angry. And so you're not adverse to risk then?
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I still like risk. I like a lot of my career choices. I take a risk.
Yeah.
I think if you don't take certain risks and calculated risks, you're only ever going to hit middle of the road.
Yeah.
And I've never wanted to be middle. I've always wanted to strive for something more. And I think sometimes not achieving that does lead to, addiction issues and that as well. So, I mean, that's a whole nother podcast there.
Yeah.
But I really like the adrenaline of that routine. And then, the funfare from the audience afterwards when you get out and that's your closing number and you're standing there soaked and the audience is going wild and, the confetti cannons are shooting off and the music play. It's a great feeling.
I imagine.
Yeah.
And so after that feeling, you're then on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
You walk off stage, and what happens? You go back to your hotel room, or you to the bar at the hotel?
Yeah. So at that time for that first tour of America, I wasn't drinking. So that was fine. It was the same. We were in a place. We weren't touring, so it was the same sort of place every day. So I was able to get friendship groups and that. But then when I returned to Australia and sort of started casually drinking again, my next few tours were proper tours, where it's flights and hotels and somewhere different every day.
Rockstar.
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
Yes.
Getting business class flights everywhere in the world, doing TV specials in Mongolia. We had a press conference. I got off the flight in Mongolia and there were people holding my name and flags and, 12 camera crews and all this. And I'm getting interviewed on the runway walking up. And
wow.
It was nuts. And when the proper tours started, when you're going from place to place, hotel to hotel, that was when it was lonely. A residency's not so lonely because, it becomes just a day job. You go to work, you come home.
Yep.
But touring life is really lonely. Because you're not, you don't have, the people you're touring with are employees.
Yep.
And you try and keep a certain professionalism with them. You're often not able to have your loved ones come with you the whole legs. So you are often on your own in hotel rooms with bars or in a lounge at a hotel, at an airport.
Yeah.
Everything's free, or,
Yep.
the fortunate enough to be the pointy end of the plane where it's free out, and good stuff. And you're there just like, well, it's free. I'd be silly not to take it.
Well, and you sort of deserve it, don't you?
Yeah,
Like you're a rock
look
star.
at me, I'm living this life.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Work hard, play
Yeah.
hard. But also that loneliness, like I want to sort of touch on that a little bit. Did you feel that you felt lonely and then you drunk? The two go hand in hand?
Yeah. Because you go from feeling the most popular person in the room. You've got 2,000 people in an audience screaming out your name, going crazy, but no one knows you really. They just know that version of you on stage, and then you go back and none of that's real, right?
Yeah.
So you get, even like I've noticed my social media starting building, and people are like, oh, you're just getting a bit of an influencer thing, but it's not real, right?
Yeah.
These people like what you put out, or this perceived notion of you online or on stage, but that's not how your parents know you or your best friend knows you. It's so those fans and that really like your work, it's incredible, but none of that's measurable. It's inflated. It's not it's not sustainable. It doesn't feel anything. You think it's gonna give you something, but it's not real. So it's kind of worthless. It's incredible to experience, but it's kind of pointless in a way.
Yeah, but there's purpose there in entertainment, isn't there?
Yeah.
Do you mean that you felt like the wholesomeness of who you are is more than that, more than the smoke and mirrors?
Yeah, because I got into magic because as I touched on, I was a sick kid.
Yep.
And it made me so happy
Yeah.
to be in a hospital bed and have people come and entertain me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make other people feel happy, and I did a lot of stuff at children's charities and Make-A-Wish Foundation and all that sort of stuff. And then as the tours went on, it just felt like it became, you've got managers and different people working with you. It became about ticket sales and money, and obviously that all means the audience is having a great time. But it became secondary.
Yes.
To it became, how can we maximize finances for this?
Yeah. What about now? Like you sort of mentioned about social media. Do you feel a similar thing now?
Yeah, no. Like I post a lot of stuff that has no benefits or health to it, but then I am, from my time with the ABC, and that I do post social commentary and stuff that, I try and balance it a little bit because, I do still like the fluff and the entertainment, but I also want people to see another side of me that has a bit of depth.
Yeah.
And, something to say and contribute, particularly with the way the world is at the moment. It's just such a dividing place, hate's growing within everyone, small communities that were once bound together are becoming fragmented as well. And it's just, I want to go there and talk about things that matter to me, but then I also need to balance that for people to tune in. You need to give them a bit of, here's a glossy shot of Ben walking on the red carpet and, but...
It's a great balance, isn't it? And it's like, even I find it difficult with this podcast that I've said that it's all about one addict helping another.
Yeah.
And if one person listens to it, that's amazing. By nature, like us sitting down together, this is immensely helping me. I hope it helps you with your sobriety. But also, like, you're sort of looking at how many people have watched this and how many people have viewed this.
Well, otherwise it's a lot of work for nothing. So you do have to, it still has to be entertaining, right? So if you've got a message to say or get it across, you've still got to find a way to package that up to get people interested in what you have to say.
Yes, and then more ears can hear it, more people get help.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
What do you think of Kyle Sandilands? I ask this because I saw a very humorous post.
Yeah, I was trying to get people to donate to the let's help dig him out of this. He's done enough digging for himself. I think he's incredibly talented. I
Yeah.
think he's done amazingly well. I think it's really awful that 75 people lost their job for him and Jackie O to get that $100 million contract. I think that's, the radio industry and lots of industries in Australia are already starting to die. And then I think it's really sad now that those people less than 2 years ago lost their job now for nothing, because that's ended as well.
Yes.
So my heart goes out to, the producers and that too, that worked on the previous shows and, Kyle and Jackie O show, that those people also don't have a job now, so it's tough.
The ripples go far and wide, don't they?
When all the media and that's about this poor guy who's already got, X amount of millions in his bank account and that. And, so my post was a bit tongue-in-cheek. I could see both sides. Like, one, if I was in his position, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yes.
But two, I feel bad for the other people. So it's a tough one. Yeah.
It's like that sort of, juvenile kind of pranking radio just feels like it's so far in the past, I feel.
Well, he's got such a massive platform. Sure, be who you are, but also find those moments to... You could do something... You've got such a huge platform. You could do so much with that.
Yeah, and you see, I support the basketball, and you see, Fifi and Fev there, supporting, underprivileged children.
Yeah, their underdogs program.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's still really entertaining. It's
Yes.
great radio, but you're giving something back too, which is wonderful,
And that's that fine line of what we were saying, the mixture of the yin and the yang, the serious and the fun.
Yeah.
So tell us, Ben, about how your drinking progressed and when you knew you had a problem.
Yeah, definitely with the tours. There was some weeks there that I was doing, 12, 13 flights a week, back here, there and everywhere. And that's probably where it started. I'd get to the airport. I started noticing it was become a problem when I'd go to the airport. I'd get my Hungry Jacks and I'd pour out half a drink and I'd put duty free.
Yeah.
And so I'd have that. Or I'd go to the lounge if I was, depending what flight I was on, and, start woofing into the free alcohol there.
Mm-hmm.
And that just escalated, and I was unable to get through a flight without being pretty wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than just a drink or two, I was getting wasted.
And I think the thing about airports and air travel is that it's almost like there's no time zone. You could acceptably have a beer at an airport at 3 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning.
I remember I had this is terrible, but I remember the Gold Coast, it was 9 o'clock or something, I had a 9 o'clock flight, and I got a double vodka Red Bull, and the lady behind the counter said something like, "Oh, you're starting early," and I felt so judged, and I was so angry in that moment that I came back and I've just come from a funeral.
Yeah.
To try and how dare you judge me? I hadn't, but I just wanted to say, how dare you judge me, get stuffed? And I came up with this lie, and then I remember sitting on the flight just going, I have a problem. Mm-hmm. I just made this complete bullshit lie up to a stranger. And
justification.
Yeah, but I was really ashamed of myself because I snapped at someone, and I'm not a snapper. I'm not, a cranky person. And she was right. And I think that's why the venom came out of me. She,
Yeah. And also, for both of you, though, judge whose shoes you walk in. Who knows where you were? The fact that they're serving it.
Well, they're serving it at that time. It's the Gold Coast. You see worse. People, I could have been on a holiday or this, but it just, that's the point is she was right.
Yes.
It was the first time I felt, I've been caught. And, I was pissed.
I've done the same.
I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
About it. It's wow.
I've done the same thing. And I was on the way to Bali with my family, and it was one of those sort of 7:30 in the morning flights. And because we were going on holidays, and because I worked hard, and because I thought I deserved it,
yeah,
I got a Long Island iced tea because the most alcoholic drink that you can possibly get, and I'm there drinking it at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't.
But it's
only
okay
have
because you're on
one.
holidays.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly right, and you can probably
And you
tell
deserve it. We've been saving up for this holiday. I'm going with the family. This is, fuck it, this is what we do on holidays.
Yeah, and that was like the start of how the whole holiday was, because it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm having a swim, I can have a bintang. Like, I look back on those times and I think how embarrassing and blatantly embarrassing it was.
Yeah.
And that my kids were around that, and you know, I got a lot of shame and regret about that I'm working through, you know, and will take me a living amends of forever to make up for.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling. I know the my big thing when I was home Monday. I didn't have to drink every day, but when I did drink, it would be crazy. And I often on a Monday, if I wasn't touring, that would be sort of the first day my partner would be at work and I'd be at home on my own, and I'd be like, oh. And so Mondays, my partner would come home and I would just be wasted by the time he got home, because it'd be I'd get back on a Friday or a Sunday and we'd be fine. We'd been busy and chatting, and then I'd be left alone with my feelings and thoughts, and it was and then Tuesday it'd be, I'd take out all the stress and anger and bring up arguments with my partner, be completely sloshed. Tuesday would be filled with, I'm so sorry, this will never happen again, blah 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 blah. And it was just rinse and repeat. I think a lot of us can relate to that kind of thing, and it wasn't fair to him, and then I started thinking, if I switch drinks and straight into vodka, he won't know that I'm drinking, or and he started wanting to say, oh hey, let's go to dinner tonight, meet me here. And he would try, and I didn't realize it at the time, but he was trying to get me to do stuff where I'd have to drive so I wouldn't drink. And that breaks my heart, that I was causing someone so much pain that they were fearful to come home. And he told me there was days that he'd be at the end of the street just sitting down for an hour or two on his phone, waiting for hopefully me to be passed out and asleep so he could come home. And that to love someone and know that you've caused them that much pain is awful. And the worst thing about being an addict is that then makes you want to drink more. Because you're trying to escape those pains. An addict's brain's not rational. So it's cruel. It's this vision of pain and hurt. You're hurting, which is why you're drinking, and then you're hurting other people, and then you feel guilty about that. And so it's it was hard.
I can relate to that, and it's a downward spiral as well. Like, you pick up on picking up is what we talk about in the program, that you, like in our case, would drink because of the shame that drinking brought upon us. And then when you stop, it's like, oh fuck. And you've either got a massive pile of shit that you need to clean up, or you're losing the people around you that love you. And what I lost in the end is I didn't lose my house, I didn't lose my job, I didn't lose my car. I lost hope. And for me, that was very, very sad, because I had a lot of stuff. Like, I had, from the outside, it was a really successful life. I had a business, had a beautiful wife, got beautiful children. They're in private school. How well am I going? I got all this shiny stuff. But the net result was I didn't want to wake up on a Monday morning. I'd close my eyes and fucking hope I didn't wake up.
Yeah, you and me both. People would be like, when people find out that I'm sober and find out that, they're like, I had no idea. I'm like, why you've been successful, you've done all this stuff. I was so unhappy, and I didn't want to wake up, and I didn't think I'd ever get sober, and I wanted to be dead. I didn't want to do anything to get there. But I didn't want to live anymore.
I'm sorry that you went through that.
Yeah, likewise.
It's really horrible, isn't it?
It's something that and that's the worst thing about alcohol too. It takes too many of those days and feelings before we start to do something about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know it's wrong and that, but this part of your brain just starts trying to rationalize things, and it's not the problem, it's the other shit in your life. And,
Yeah.
and it's just, it tricks you. It's like, it's a magician
Yeah.
itself, like, right? It's making you think something's happening that's not. And meanwhile, it's just taking away everything it's good in your life.
Yeah. And it's hard. Like, you can't just weigh up a ledger of, I get this much, it takes that much away. It's progressive. And all of a sudden, like for me, now that I look at it with a couple of years clean and sober, I look back and go, it took so much more away from me than what it gave to me.
And the moment it takes away your hope,
Yeah.
you have then no reason to not drink anyway.
Yes.
It's like, well, my hope's gone, so what does it matter whether I get drunk or not?
Yeah.
It knows exactly what to make you feel, so it wins.
And you've got no rationale. Like, you can't like work through logically, like, why you would stop drinking. Like, why would I stop? I'll just keep going because it'll numb the pain, it'll numb the feelings. I won't be able to feel all.
Well, and there's no way out. So you can't. You're so dark and down there. You cannot see a life where alcohol is not part of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't particularly see a life with alcohol either. There's just no light. There is no hope. There is nothing to look forward to. You just think, this is my life.
This is it.
This is it.
So what changed?
I don't think there was any one particular thing. I just know that my partner was hurting.
Yeah.
I know I was looking and feeling awful. I was saying no to a lot of gigs and, making excuses why I couldn't do commitments that I'd have. And then, there was a few things, landing in Japan, waking up, I was the last person on the flight with all the crew surrounded by me and all these empty, drinks around me, and just going, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things. So at first, like, my partner was like, you've got to go to AA, and it was just to shut my partner up. Like,
people pleasing?
Yep. Whatever. This isn't an issue. This is your problem, but whatever, I'll shut you up.
Yep.
And AA didn't work for me. I know it works for a lot of people, and I think that's brilliant. For me, it felt like you're swapping one addiction for another. And, and I also didn't like some of the thoughts of handing over to those that we, cannot control.
Yep.
I thought, no, I can control this. So I did something called smart recovery.
Okay.
Which is starting to pop up a few things, and that really sort of gets you to question, what can you do? What have you done? What decisions did you make? It is very much about holding yourself accountable.
Yes.
And I think, I like to think of myself as a fairly rational person, and, it forced me to have a really good, hard look at myself. And hearing other people in the group being held accountable. Like, there was one guy who said, every morning I have to have 3 drinks, the first thing I woke up. And, the moderator or whatever you call it, is going, well, why don't you just have 2 today? That's something you could do instead. And he's like, well, no, it's only this. And I just like, yeah, man, why can't you just have 2? And then it made me think to myself, just cut back, just do that. So I did that.
So it's not an abstinence program. It's
no, they even, they don't want you to go cold turkey. It was just about slowly going off. So I did that quite a few times, and my partner would take me as well. Sit in the car and wait. And I also started, I think it was nalproxone.
Okay.
Which is a medication you take that just makes the desire of alcohol not enjoyable, makes you feel quite ill. And that all, I beat that.
I've done that.
I was like, the first week or two, where you're like, no, I'm still going to drink. And I beat that drug that was meant to make me hate it.
Because we're conniving and manipulative,
Yeah. And then it was, the 10th of December in 2019, and my parents don't drink, and they were coming down to stay with us at Christmas, and I was like, okay, I've got a busy few weeks of corporate events and shows. I'm just not going to drink until they've been for Christmas and then left.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. They're going to be here in 2 weeks. That's it. And I was so busy with work during that time, which was great, because if I had downtime. Like, being idle was not my friend. Still isn't a great friend of mine. But that was such a busy month, and then they were there, and we had such a wonderful time. And then they left. I thought, oh, okay, I've done a month. Let's do another week, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, that just went on.
And here you are.
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years later.
3 months and a couple of days, and I really thought I was going to end up dead, or in a mental institution, or I wanted to be put away for a while. I needed a break. I was not in a good place.
Yep.
And I just can't believe it, And in that 6 years, we've had a lot of bad stuff. Like, my partner and I were having a baby. We spent a lot of time and money and different things getting to that place. And unfortunately, our surrogate got breast cancer the month before we were meant to do transfers, and someone we love dearly. And that was a horrific thing to go through. We were grieving for our friend, who got quite ill, and then also our baby journey, and then in the middle of a magic show I got assaulted that led to a back operation, and that became news. It was on a current affair. It was in the New York Times, Inside Edition in America. It was like kind of all over,
in your safe place.
Yeah, I got and all the media, because it was like 26 million views, and then it was on, like, it was in newspapers all over the world, in Spain, and it was crazy.
Yeah. Can you elaborate on what happened there?
Oh, there's just this. This guy from the audience. I had a female volunteer out from the stage, was doing this card trick and sitting on the edge of the stage, and just out of nowhere, this person dived up on stage and attacked me, and it turned out that was her husband. And
oh, right.
Yeah, so that whole thing was, really, really messy. So I had some of the worst things that have ever happened in my life. And I mean, that ended up having a back operation. 2 years later, I still have to have pain medication, and will need another operation on my spine.
Right.
In a lot of pain for that. So the worst things that have ever happened to me have been in my sober years.
Yeah.
And
you didn't pick up a drink?
No, because my worst day sober is still better than my best day drunk.
Yeah.
And I know that if I pick up a drink again, I'm dead.
Yes.
And I've still got to deal with stuff. Stuff hurts. Things go wrong. You have good days, you have bad days. There's awful stuff. But there's light.
Yeah.
And there's hope.
Yes.
And there's these beautiful things. Life's complex, and it's not particularly great for anyone right now. So why the little bit of control that I do have, why throw that away?
Yes.
I can choose to have one less worry, and that worry would affect everything else and make it worse.
It's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Sobriety.
And there's this, I don't know if it's arrogance or something, being sober. I feel like
yeah.
I'm so bloody proud of myself.
Yes.
From, Facebook messages pop up now, and memories from, and I'm like, I was drunk when I posted that for sure.
Yeah.
And, every now and then it just pops up, and it just fills you with so much shame.
Yes.
But then, I reflect on where I am, and I'm so proud of where I've become and what I've achieved in that 6 years. It's incredible, but I'm just thankful that my partner stayed by my side, and that I got out of it relatively, compared to a lot of people, damage free.
Yeah. Your partner obviously plays a big role in your sobriety journey. He's obviously stuck by you. You must have a beautiful relationship with him.
Yeah, I mean, 23 years is a long time. So we were together since I was 4. But I mean, like any long-term relationship, it's complex. There's it's hard, but we've grown up together too. So we were I was 19, 20 when we got together. So we're very young. We know each other so well. We fight a lot, but we're there for each other. But everything's easier to get through.
Yeah.
When you're sober.
Well, he gets this version of you now. That's part of the gift of recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think more like I get this version of me.
Yes.
I get to wake up and not have to decipher last night like it's a Netflix whodunit.
Yeah,
You know, oh, who did this? Who did that? Who do I have to apologize to this morning?
Yeah.
You know, do I have to check Facebook and delete and go, sorry, I think my Facebook account was hacked last night? You're like, wow, you get hacked a lot, man. You know?
Yeah.
Whoever keeps writing all that stuff must really hate you. You know, why are they posting this terrible stuff?
Yeah.
You know, and I get to not hurting other people, and that's a bonus. But waking up and feeling good about myself is, you know, that's the win there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if you do anything for other people, that's awesome. But I think you have to do things for yourself first.
Yeah.
And I think that's also part of it. I stopped people pleasing for a bit, and you know, not selfish, but I put my needs as a priority, and everything else kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your journey to have children with your partner, is that still something that's within is it a goal of yours to do that?
We're not 100% sure now. Like we were so sure. We feel like everything happens for a reason. But it's, you know, when all of that was happening, that was not long after, you know, I started getting sober. It, you know, brought us together. We had to really, you know, do a lot of counseling sessions and deep dives and all this sort of stuff. So it had a purpose to reconnect us and help both of us grow, which was beautiful. You know, I'd still love a child, but we also, we're very, the life we live at the moment is really wonderful, and we're really enjoying it. You know, most of our relationship, I was touring or away, you know, and the first time in 23 years, we've got all this time together. My partner's able to work from home.
Yep.
So, you know,
you get to fall in love again.
Yeah, we've never had this time to spend together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're out, which you were commenting on, you know, off records, you know, the amount of stuff that I get invited to and go to, there isn't a show on that we haven't seen, you know, there's not an exhibit that we haven't been to.
You're a man about town.
Yeah, and it's wonderful, whereas I used to, you know, would only be out with work and want to sit home and get drunk.
Yeah. When I was in active addiction, drinking for me was a place to slow down.
Yeah.
Where does Ben find slowing down now?
I struggle with that still because my mind doesn't shut up. So often the hardest part of my day is laying in bed when my partner's asleep, and it just doesn't shut up. Whereas, you know, I used to be able to drink and turn it off.
Yep.
And before I got assaulted, it was yoga or a jog, but I'm unable to do that due to my back injuries at the moment. So finding those moments is, I'm still on a journey to find the exact magic trick. But, you know, I do a bit of meditation, you know, just trying to sit there. I put on really trashy TV, like, you know, I don't want to be a cliche or anything, but maths is really good. I'm obsessed in other people's drama because it makes my life look a lot more sorted. I just think, wow, I am not that messed up.
There's no shame in that, you know. Like that is a legitimate way of unwinding, you know. And you've obviously...
But it's an addiction though, which is also, you know, something that worries me a bit.
Yeah, true. But you also have got such a fulfilling life, it appears, like in terms of your professional career. And I really love what you said before, where you seem to be, growth is at the edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you have to get right to the edge of the cliff to sort of, to be able to progress and get further in life. If you sit there just going through the motions, like, you can become mediocre, can't you?
Yeah.
But trying different things is where growth is.
I think that's where life is too. Like, you know, with my magic, I learnt the show. I got bored of doing it the way I was doing it, so I learnt it in Mandarin and then spent 6-7 years touring China.
Yeah.
Just to challenge myself. And I think the moment we stop learning or discovering new things about ourselves and that, or aiming or having goals, you kind of just start existing. And so, you know, when I got offered the ABC and they said a big part of that, you've got to be interviewing politicians, and I'm like, what? I'm a magician. I do, you know, dick jokes and card tricks for a living. You want me to, you know, talk to prime ministers and, premiers and be researched and all that. But having those, discovering you can do things that you didn't think you could, or challenging yourself, it's awoken parts of me that I didn't know existed, or skills that I didn't think I had, or interests that I just thought I have no interest in this, and then discovering, oh, actually, this is really fascinating.
Yeah.
And discovering that about yourself is exciting, because it's, that stupid old saying, which I hate, learn something new every day, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
But it's so true, and it doesn't have to be, learning, but discovering different things. And I try and say yes to so many things, whether it's going out to dinner or going to a play, or things that I, would say no to, and just go, I might enjoy it. I've not done it before. How can I decide I'm not going to like it until I do it? So let's go do it.
And like harnessing curiosity. Right?
Yeah.
Like try everything once, maybe. But
except jumping without a parachute.
Yeah,
because that's
exactly.
You can only do that once.
There's no return. I was going to use another analogy, but that's harnessing curiosity and seeing where that leads us in life is a beautiful place to be.
I think it makes you a better partner, a better parent, a better friend, because if you're curious to that, just lends yourself to with being more empathic within those relationships and connecting more with, your friends you do have. And I just think, curiosity can be used as such a lofty sort of word, but it could be such a great little thing. Just, the amount of time you come home and your partner's just like, oh, hey, how was your day? Good. And you don't actually look at each other or make, you're just, again, existing. So being genuinely curious, and that can just make you feel connected and tethered. And I think that grounds you, particularly as an addict. Tethering yourself is just, it's wonderful. And you can only do that by being curious and really genuinely interested in things.
Do you identify as an addict or an alcoholic?
Yeah, I'm definitely an addict. I have an addictive personality with everything. Like if I open a block of chocolate, that block of chocolate's going. I love what I love, and I can't. Yeah, self-restraint is something that I've got to be more curious about.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. In the fellowship that I'm part of, it's like there's tea and biscuits, and it's like I'm not allowed to touch the Tim Tams because I just will never stop.
Yeah, right.
So...
Well, if you got one of those never-ending packets, you wouldn't have to. You could just keep going back.
Exactly right. Do you think that you would achieve the lofty heights of your career and where you are now without sobriety?
I wouldn't have done anything political. I wouldn't have ended up with my own chat show I had a chat show on Foxtel. I was interviewing people. I mean, in the last year, I've interviewed Lenny Kravitz. I've interviewed Mel C, Miriam Margolyes, these amazing people.
Yeah.
The change of career and discovering new things wouldn't have happened. I would have been too afraid, or wouldn't have known where to begin. And I still don't know where to begin half the time, but that's half the fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Who was the best person to interview?
Everyone's got something fascinating.
Yeah.
It's easy to say who the worst person is, which I won't.
I thought we were going to have a scoop there.
Who the best person is, a lot of people, everyone's got a story, right? So whether you're chatting to a politician, a famous rock star, or someone who runs the local, Lions Club or whatever, when you're interviewing, it's the same.
Yeah.
If you're tuned in on that story, everyone's really cool.
Yeah. And that like, people are cool.
Yeah, well, people are people. People are, flawed and,
yes.
Have hopes and dreams. And what amazes me the most is the big names, the people you think have everything, amazed how, they're saying, oh, thank you for this. I appreciate the opportunity. And, or they're genuinely nervous themselves. And you think, what have you? And then you realize that they're trying their best. I mean, in my eyes, they're above, but to some, they're not where they want. Everyone's trying to find their place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what's on the horizon for yourself?
Oh gosh, well, I'm working on a new TV series at the moment, so that's in development. I'm doing a lot of stand-up, a lot of events at the
Yeah.
moment, which is great. I've been offered a couple of radio jobs, one in Sydney, which I'm not sure about as it's slightly too political focused. I need a bit of variety,
Yeah.
but at the moment, I'm not in a rush. I think, I'm the next step. I want to be a place where I'm for a while,
Yeah.
and not in a rush to be there.
Yeah. One final question for you. If you could give a message to little Ben when he was younger, what would you say?
Breathe, mate. They're wrong. You'll get there.
That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Didn't expect you to cry.
No.
What does that mean for you?
Bloody puff. See, this is what we're like. No.
You're good.
I was this loud, obnoxious, really flamboyant kid doing magic tricks, getting told, why are you doing magic? It'll never go anywhere. And I made a really healthy career from doing what I loved,
Yeah.
and that was making people happy, and I got to tour the world and get paid for it.
For what you love.
For what I love, it's my partner always tells me when I get down and I go, I'm not where I want to be. And then I get quite hard on myself. And my partner will go, okay, if you, as a little kid, if you had said you would have achieved what if you would have that kid been happy? And I'm like, he wouldn't have believed that would happen.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes I've got to stop and remember that, yeah, I got most of my dreams, which is crazy.
And a lot of people don't, Ben. A lot of people don't.
No.
And like you're in that small percentage of people that have got after it, and you should be absolutely commended, mate.
Yeah, thank you. But I think it doesn't matter what your dream is, people shouldn't stop dreaming. And I think people get to, our age, and people, they kind of think, oh, I'm in this job, I've got kids, or I've got this, and it's rubbish. If you have a dream, go and get it, and it doesn't matter how big or small that dream is.
Yeah.
Find a way.
Yeah.
Do it. And even if you don't get there, there's things that I'm chasing I don't think I'll ever get. Aiming for it gets me out of bed of the day.
Yeah.
Gives me something to do. And along the way, I'm discovering things I didn't think would be part of my story, part of my journey. And the stuff that I never thought would be there have been the best parts of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's all just from having goals that may never happen. It's just something to look forward to and move towards. Just keep moving.
The journey.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
Just keep swimming.
That's beautiful. Thanks so much, Ben. I'm really grateful for your time, and thanks for joining me on Slaying Sober.
Thank you. I'm grateful for this podcast and people getting awareness.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, mate.
That was beautiful.